we're going to practice the classic 3 exercises that we're supposed to practice to make our muscles grow and develop. And they are the quick squeezes, the slow holds, and one called the knack, which you might not have heard of before.
No, I've never heard of that.
No,
The knack.
which is actually one of the most important ones. So we're going to first do the big, strong squeezes on and off. Just like if you went to the gym and you wanted to build up the muscles in your arm, you would lift weights and lower them, and you would lift them and lower, and you wouldn't rush, because the muscle has to both go to its maximum and its least working. So we're sitting down now because a lot of people find that they're often got a good moment sitting down to practice, and because being able to feel the pelvic floor sitting on the chair can be quite helpful. But you could practice these standing up or lying down. The gym balls are nice because gym balls force you to sit up well. And what you will find is it's very tempting in a chair to slump. And that makes doing your pelvic floor exercises quite hard because you're pushing down into your pelvis. So a gym ball, you can't slump, which is why I've given you a little advantage here. So we're going to sit beautifully in your chair or on your gym ball. Think about what we did earlier. We want to tighten the back passage and lift up around the front like we're stopping a wee at the same time. Best squeeze you can do, and then completely let go. And we're going to do 10 of those. So we're going to squeeze around the back, lift at the front, best squeeze you can do, let go. And we're going to squeeze at the back, lift at the front, best squeeze, let go. Now,
it's hard not to pull a face while you're doing it.
You're allowed to pull little faces, but what you can't do is use your bottom. And I can tell because I can see you rising up on your gym balls. So the gym balls are good for checking on that. So try to keep your bottom relaxed. Let's try another 3. Squeeze at the back, lift at the front, relax. Squeeze at the back, lift at the front, relax. And if anybody's watching us, we should look really boring. But can you see that you're having to concentrate? Squeeze at the back, lift at the front, let go. Now, strangely, one of the things some people have to work on, which we talked about this morning, was letting go. Sometimes when you've done a few, you find you're very good at going up, but you have to almost really concentrate to come back down.
Because my worry with letting go, I'm thinking something might let go.
Something might let go.
Mine doesn't feel like it's that easy. It can't just, it feels like it won't just go and let go. It kind of eases out.
So you might need to give it a bit more time. So you don't want to be rushing your squeezes because you need time to let go. And in your case, you definitely want to practice when you've got an empty bladder so you can trust a bit more.
Because I think it's a trust issue within myself.
And just take your time. So it's 3 more. Squeeze. Best squeeze you can do. Best relax you can do. That's it. And squeeze. And don't worry if your tummy joins in. Do you remember we said that's okay? But all your thoughts are underneath. And again, squeeze back and front together, lifting up inside, best squeeze you can do, let go. And one more, so we've done 10. Squeeze at the back, lift at the front, and let go. Now 10 is the magic number that they always say to do. No one really knows where it came from, but the point is enough to make it feel quite tired. And that should feel like you did something, whereas there's a real tendency to just do 3 and then wonder why things aren't getting any better because you've just done 3 and your muscles are gone. So easy. You've got to make it feel like you had to do more than you fancied. Okay. Now, the reason we practice that really good, strong squeeze is for those moments in life where there's going to be a pressure down and the bladder might leak. So that's coughs, sneezes, jumps, running slightly different because that goes on and on, but laughing or picking up something heavy. Now, lots of people have beautifully practiced their on and off squeezes like they've been told to, but haven't thought about when to use it. And that's called the knack, the skill, the knack. So if you gently and gingerly do a little cough now without holding your muscles, just now, you'll feel your perineum bounce on your gym ball. Did you feel it? Yeah. Now that's when your bladder's most vulnerable because everything can go like that. Now this time, what we just practiced, squeeze at the back, lift at the front, hold it really nice and strong, best squeeze you can do, cough.
Oh yeah, didn't do it.
Did it stay still?
Yeah, stayed there.
You see? Now, you could have practiced a lot of squeezes in your life, but not realised you need to do that before you cough.
Oh, and that's the knack.
That's called the knack.
That's the knack.
And
I
actually,
got the knack.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great name for it. And lots of people have found that if they tighten up before they cough or sneeze, it stops it leaking. Now, people will say, but how can I do that every time? How will I remember? But you weren't born putting your hand to your mouth. Probably your mum taught you to put your hand to your mouth before you cough or sneeze. So if you practice at home the knack, when your bladder's empty, when you don't really need to cough or sneeze, practice putting your hand to your mouth, holding the back and the front together and coughing. Then very quickly you can create a habit. So that when a cough really comes along or a sneeze and you're not expecting it, your hand goes up, your pelvic floor comes up, and you're much safer.
Yes.
And if it's something like bouncing on a trampoline, I mean, that's
Much harder.
Are you supposed to think about contracting and doing that every bounce?
If you might have to practice one jump and then how to do 2 jumps and then how to do 3 jumps. But soon your brain learns, usually once you can do 5 jumps in a row, your brain actually has got the hang of doing 2 things at the same time.
Yes.
And it becomes part of the muscle memory
Yes.
and things.
And it's like driving a car. Sometimes you have to really think at the beginning, but over time it becomes more subconscious.
Yes.
But we're going to do practicing 3 things at the same time a little bit later, once we've mastered one thing at a time. And if we've got time, we'll even do jumping. So that's our first important exercise, was to practice big squeezes and proper let goes. Proper let goes. Our second exercise is to practice the knack, holding your muscles on purpose when you're going to cough. Now our third exercise is being able to hold your muscles and breathe. Because we have discussed the situations where you're standing at the front door, your bladder's full, you still need to get your keys out, you need to get through the door and get yourself to the toilet in time. That's quite long. And if you don't breathe...
Especially if you've got 2 and 3 locks.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got to be able to control the bladder from below. And you tightening your muscles does actually tell the bladder to wait. They're like a competing muscle groups. So when the bladder's going, I want to wee, and you're going, no, not yet, you want your muscles underneath to win the argument. But to do that, you have to be able to breathe.
Yes.
So this time we are doing a good squeeze, but not so tight that you can't breathe. So it's not quite as tight as those first ones, but pretty strong. So relax everything completely. We say breathe in first. And then as you breathe out, draw up underneath the back and the front together, hold them, and just take a moment to work out how you're going to hold and breathe. One more breath, and now let go. Now the goal is to be able to hold for about 10 breaths, about 20 seconds. But at the beginning, you might be doing well if you can manage 3 breaths. I reckon 3 was about our level there, do you think? So have another go at just 3 breaths. So breath in, let everything be relaxed. Now on purpose, draw up underneath. Let the tummy join in if it wants to, but all your thoughts are underneath. And work out how you're going to keep breathing and keep holding. And the pelvic floor will sort of move a bit, but you've still got it. And now let it relax properly down. So shall we try 5 breaths?
Yes.
So breath in. As you breathe out, draw up underneath at the back, a bit at the front, little bit of tummy. And then it's a good strong hold because you've got to win against the bladder, but you can still breathe and breathe. Don't worry if it feels like it's going up and down a bit, as long as you mostly got it wobbly. Yeah, because you're only doing it for the first time. And then let go. That was a lot longer. And did you feel by the end you were quite keen to have a proper breath? Yeah. Now, this one takes a lot of practice. And we usually suggest that you practice 10 of those in a row. In the long run, you're trying to hold 10 for 10 seconds each, yeah? Or 10 breaths each. I find it easier to count the breaths. But you're doing really well if you're holding 3 or 5. And you don't want to be holding too long and just getting tighter and tighter and tighter like this. It's better to do shorter ones and take a few weeks to get better at it. Making sense?
Fantastic.
Yeah.